What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be giving an analysis of how my racket journey has been going recently throughout tennis. If you watched the last video, you probably heard me talk about the two rackets that I'm possibly choosing. This is between the Babolat Pure Strike 98 and the Wilson Blade 98S. So I've been testing these rackets for a few weeks now. I've gotten a little bit of time to do some match play with them, some practice, got to hit off a few ball machines, and this is some of the information that I found out. First, before I get into the information, let me go ahead and explain the setups of what I've been running recently. So for the Pure Strike, I really haven't found a great string that has worked for me amazingly yet. Again, being a big Slinko Confidential guy, Slinko Confidential has not been amazing on this racket, but I tried its twin, Hyper G. Okay, so in this video, when you see me hitting with this is Hyper G. This is the 130 gauge, and it's at 55 pounds. The Wilson Blade 98S. On the racket right now, this is Slinko Confidential 125 at around 52 pounds. Starting with the backhands. I'll be honest, on the backhand side, this is normally my stronger side. This has been my better stroke out of the two, starting from day one when I learned tennis. I don't know why. Maybe it's because the one side of my body that I never used for another sport besides basketball. So that could be something. I really felt like the Blade S, the 98 Blade, I felt like it really was more beneficial to me on my backhand. I think I was able to go flat, or I could spin it if I would like. I felt like there was a lot more plow through when I would use the Wilson Blade. With the Pure Strike backhand, one pro that it definitely has over the Wilson Blade is you can definitely spin it a little bit higher. You're going to get more natural spin. You still can hit it flat, and you still can spin it as high as you want. I just think the backhand for the Babolat Pure Strike is not quite as consistent as the Blade. And I say that in the most minor perspective as possible. That there's possibly, like, if I was rating a point system between the backhand on these, it would be a 1 to 2 point difference. But the Pure Strike is great at the backhand. It's just not as powerful and consistent, I believe. Thing that could cost you at the same time is if you're somebody who has a lot of power, you could possibly be hitting a lot of balls out. Jumping to the forehand side, I feel like both of them did great forehands. Starting with the Blade again, the Wilson Blade, again, you're dialing back a lot of power for control and precision. Now, if you're somebody who has a lot of power and needs help controlling the ball, this is a great racket to look at. I had control, I had precision, it was going in. I don't know, sometimes I get a little hungry on my forehand side. I really want to rear back, and I want to have a little bit of extra power. I want to have a little bit of extra juice, and I feel like the Blade can sometimes hold me back when it comes to generating that power and generating that depth on the forehand side. But when looking at the Pure Strike, you'll see in the videos, you can already tell within the first couple hits, the ball is increasing depth another 2 or 3 feet. It's spinning a lot more. Honestly, the racket feels like it moves a little bit better too on the forehand side, and I was just able to whip it around, and I really liked that. I liked having a lot more juice on my forehand, where I knew if a big play was about to come, I could step in, pull my arm back, and put the racket through the zone. It would go where I needed it to go. I've gotten to spend a good amount of time with each of these, a little bit less on the Pure Strike, so I'm still in the testing process. During practice, I have loved hitting with the Pure Strike more. I don't know what it is. I really just feel like in practice, I've had a great fluid method with it. But when it has come down to game time, I've kind of naturally been a Wilson Blade type guy, and I don't know why. I think it's to deal with the control and the accuracy, knowing that I can always count on the Blade to show up and show out for me. Now, will it give me winners? Most likely no, but it will keep the ball in play, keep it accurate. I know I can control the court a little bit better with that racket, so that could be why. And I've played some games with the Blade, and I haven't had a problem at all with it. I feel like I've played very well. It is a slower type of pace game because, again, the racket's more control-oriented. But it does everything that I need. And as somebody who hits with a lot of power most of the time, having that control racket does help. Now, as I said, I haven't gotten to spend as much time with the Pure Strike, and I did take it out this last week, and I did play a game with it, and I felt like I was doing good with it. I really liked the depth, but honestly, maybe, and this is what I have to find out, is maybe Hyper G was losing its tension, or maybe it was me, maybe my footwork or what was going on. But I was hitting a lot of balls out, like fair and square, and I didn't know really what was going on. Like I feel like I was really having to hold back on my swing. And I don't believe this to always be the pure strike because, again, when I had RPM blast on it at one time, I could rip through it as hard as I can. So I want to believe this is a strength thing. But I also do know that, like, with that extra power, again, like I'm talking about, if you cannot control that extra power, you could be missing a lot of shots. And I found myself missing a lot of shots. Now, I will say this, though, to the Pure Strike's advantage on serve, the Pure Strike helped me a lot more than the Blade. The Pure Strike added a little bit more juice, it added a little bit more power. I was able to get a few more points off of serves rather than with the Blade as usual. But looking at the two, it's just like they play two completely different games. And when you play with a Wilson Blade, you kind of know you're going to be playing a very traditional type game. Going to be getting ground strokes. It's a very serve and volley racket. Like you'll be able to serve, you'll be able to cut shots at the net, put points away very easily. Babolat Pure Strike, it's a little different. You're playing a different game, and it's big spin kind of baseliner game. So you're going to be at the baseline most of the game, probably really producing spin depth, and then you've got to find a way to come up and either slice, drop shot, or step into a point and make it win. So really, that's another thing too, is what are you valuing? What type of game are you trying to play? Do you want to be more of a serve and volley type person and like be at the net more, putting points away, cutting shots, or do you want to be ripping winners from the backcourt and trying to pace big spin over and over and over again? And again, both of these rackets are amazing. And like hands down, there are some days I tell you I pick up the Wilson Blade. I'm like, yes, that's the one I'm using today. And then there are some days that I pick up the Pure Strike and I'm like, no, I'm going to be a Pure Strike guy today. And I've gone back and forth and back and forth. And, I still don't really have a decision. But the goal is between the Pure Strike and the Blade to find one of the two. Which one is going to increase my game? Which one do I enjoy swinging? Which one helps me offensively and defensively? And how does it impact my overall style of tennis? Which one is most comfortable? When I go through and I look at those questions, I hope to answer them sometime soon to make a final decision after that. Thank you all for tuning in. Sorry the video keeps dragging on so much about which rack is which and which string is which. I mean, it's just a lot of choices out there. And, the goal of a tennis player is to try to find the most comfortable setup that you like and the one that works best for you. So I'm going to continue to make that journey. I'm going to continue to document my progress and let y'all know when I find the right fit. And until I find the right fit, though, keep checking out the channel, keep checking up on the videos, see what I got going on here, and tag along for the ride. Besides that, I will catch y'all in the next one.